Well, YouTube, it's Rick Nixon, Nixon's Garage, working on that Rat Rod 1959 Buick Electra 225 for the Rat Rod build-off at Ratstock 2024. I haven't made any videos for a while. Well, it's just I don't have a good excuse, so let's not even start on it. I've been taking pictures along the way of some of the pieces I've made, so I'll show some of those to you here. I made patterns for my brackets. I cut out the brackets. I bent the brackets. I made some brackets. I've been making a front suspension that's completely from scratch, a twin I-beam front end. I'm building my own axles. I'm building my own radius rods. I plan to put it on air ride. And I've got some of those components in a position enough where I can show them to you a little bit. I got some pictures of them, and maybe we'll walk around the car here in a little bit. I set the body up on the car so I could start putting it back together because, as you know, we cut the roof off of it, and then I cut it right down the middle, narrowed her up a little bit in the front. Now I'm starting to put all that back together. We're going to bend up some round tubing, put that in there, put a firewall and some floorboard in it. I got some ideas of how I can do that, and well, that's what we're going to be working on. I also have my nephew here tonight, Dakota. He's doing some welding on some of those brackets. He's doing this while I'm doing that, so you know, we're getting some stuff done. We're down to that last few days. I guess it's what 51-ish days left, so starting to feel a little pressure about trying to get done that fast. Maybe I should have went faster in the beginning and slower on this end, but I went slower then, and I'll try to go faster now. So sit back, take a look. I'm going to run a handful of pictures through for you, just show you some of the stuff we've got done, and it'll give you a little bit of something to look at. Thanks for hanging in there. Sorry again that I haven't been doing any videos, but if you've done videos, you know it takes an awful lot of time, and frankly, I need to spend that time on that car. All right, well, hit that subscribe button. Come be our friend on Facebook. Remember, I still got this garage shop over here where I'm trying to fix all these cars and feed my grandkids. So bring us some cars to work on. We'll get something done. Sit back, check out those pictures. Here's a little idea of what the front suspension is going to look like. Obviously, it's not finished and still has a lot of work left to do, but there's the two front axles kind of laying under the car. Radius rod kind of laying into place. Airbag pretty close to where it's going to go. Tie back into the frame right there. I put the engine back out because I believe I needed to tear it down. So I tore it down, and it's got more trouble than I thought it had. So we'll have to figure out what to do next. It was supposed to have a blown head gasket. So I pulled the heads off. And well, I didn't really find a blown head gasket. But what I did find was one spark plug where the electrode's missing, miscoloring on these two valves, which implies that it was burning a little antifreeze. And miscoloration on a couple valves in this head also. Especially the two front cylinders. So I'm going to say it's leaking. We'll figure out what to do next. I went ahead and tore into the short block. The rod bearings and main bearings look good. Crankshaft looks good. So we're just going to have to do something to deal with this cylinder head issue. We got the body propped back up into place. It's kind of held together, tied together, strapped together, clamped together. Got some square tubing welded in places to give it some structure to try to hold it still while I put some structure back in it. Working on pulling the rear back around, because if you remember, that's the part that hooked me on this car right here. Rear suspension, still waiting on the bag mounts. There's the lower bag mount I made for the driver's side, or for the passenger side, and I got another one made for the driver's side. Got upper bag mounts and got bags. So the next night I get to work on it. We'll get that welded up, get the shocks put on, the panhard bar, and the rear suspension will be completely finished. That gives you a little bit of something to go on. Thanks for coming to watch us. I apologize again for not getting around with videos any sooner, but as you can tell, we got just a little bit of stuff going on around here. It's just a little bit busy. I should have planned my time a little better. Thanks for watching. As a side note, I gave this Firebird to my daughter on her 16th birthday in 2003. She drove it for 2 years and gave it back to me. Then I gave it to my nephew, and he drove it for a couple years and then gave it back to me. When she got it, it had a pretty paint job on it. Well, it was a pretty decent little car. My grandson, her oldest son, is 15. So I told him if he wanted this car, he could have it if he could fix it. So the first thing he did was pulled out the 2.8 V6 engine. Of course, we had to kind of talk him through it, but he's getting there done. Then he pulled the motor out of this. Corvette had a better day. Can't really show you the other side, but it's bent really bad. But we figured this little 350 LT1 and 4L60E would run really good in that little Firebird. And I got to tell you, as a pawpaw, it's pretty cool spending some time with my grandson while he's getting that ready for himself. It doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the rat rod build off, but I don't know. I just wanted to share it with you. I feel like we've all become getting to know each other a little bit, and well, it's really good to get to spend that time with him. I'm certain that's something he'll remember when he gets a little older. There's his LT1. There's the 2.8 V6 he pulled out of it. Have a good night.